right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Bahashim, Rakhakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. It's your brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson, Lord, is well satisfying. I'm going to start in the book of Matthew, the 20th chapter. And I'm going to go from there, man. Matthew 20, verse 1, it says, the laborers in the vineyard. Okay, we know the laborers are few, man. Not many are doing this work, man. Okay, I'm gonna start here in the book of Matthew 20 and 1. It says, for the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning. He went out early in the morning. Okay. And to hire laborers into his vineyard. So you know how they go get Issachar at the Home Depot. So that's what this householder did. He needed some work done around the house. So he went to Home Depot, man, and see who's ready to work, man. All right. That's kind of like what it's like. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. Okay, you know what a vineyard is. You got a vineyard, man. It's a yard full of vines, man. You know, for grapes. You know, you might have to purge. You got to keep the vine, man. You got to gather the grapes. You know, you got to do whatever you got to do. And then they agreed for a penny a day. Now that penny is salvation. Okay, it seems very little, but it's a lot. Okay, a day's pay. You can look at it like that. It's a day's pay. Matthew 20 and 3, it says, and he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. So he went out the third hour. So he went back to Home Depot. He was like, you know what? There's a lot of work here. I'm going to have to, let me go get some more laborers, you know, and they were idle. But that's symbolic of you coming into this truth and you not really knowing, you don't know about the truth. Okay. So that's why you're not doing the work, because you weren't given the gift of faith. You needed somebody to tell you about the Lord. You needed somebody to tell you that there was a vineyard that needed to be tended to. Okay? A lot of people don't know about the vineyard that needs tending. The Lord's not just getting anybody to come into this truth. And no, some of them he is bringing them in so they can get spewed out, you know, and receive damnation. There's a scripture that talks about that, eating of the Lord unworthily. Okay, Matthew 20 and 4, and he said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. So they also went. Okay, that's the third hour. Now I want to look into this word third hour. See if there's any meat in there. Let's see what the third says. Tritos.
Strong's G 5154. Tritas.
Oh, that's third. Okay. Yeah. Third, neuter, third part, third time. It's lucky, man. I'm doing too much right now. So let me Google what the third, because I'm trying to get the, kind of get a gist of these things, man. What is the third hour in the Bible? It says, in the New Testament, third hour typically refers to 9 a.m. using a Jewish time. We know there's no such thing as Jewish people. There's Israelite people, okay? That started at sunrise. This time is significant because according to the Gospel of Mark, Yahushua was crucified at the third hour. The third hour is also mentioned in the third context, such as the time of prayer for Peter and John in Acts 3:1. So this is what this is saying. He's saying that the third hour is, in the first century, time was divided into 12 hours, starting at sunrise, which is 6 a.m., and ending at sunset, which is 6 p.m. So there you go, 12 hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. A third hour is 3 hours in. The third hour, therefore, would be the 9 a.m. So that makes sense. Okay? Because if the sun rises at 6 and settles at 6, then we know that the third hour would be 9. 6 to 9, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the third hour. Okay? Which makes sense. If I'm wrong, then, hey, I'm trying. Matthew 20:5. Again, he went out about the 6th hour. So what's the 6th hour? The 6th hour is 12 a.m. Okay? Because if the third hour was 9, then the 6th hour got to be 12, starting from 6 a.m. Okay? Matthew 20:5. Let me read it again. It says, again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise. So the 6th hour is what time? It's 12 o'clock. Then the 9th hour has to be what? 1, 2, 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. Okay? And about the 11th hour would be 5 p.m. Because now the sun is about to go down at 6 p.m. Going from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Lord will, you following me. Matthew 20:6, and about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle. So look at that. The sun's about to go down. Okay? There's 1 more hour left to work. Okay? It's still not the end of the day. It's the last hour, man. And he's going out looking for laborers to tend to the vineyard. Now the vineyard is symbolic for the elect. Okay? The grapes, the cluster of grapes that the Lord is looking for. Let's get that. Let me grab that. Second Esdras chapter 9. And I'll start at 20. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. And I saw and spread it and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster and a plant of a great people. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. Okay? So what we're doing is we're feeding the sheep. That's you tending to the Lord's vineyard. Okay? Because ultimately, the elect needs to hear this word and be sealed according to Revelation, the 7th chapter. Let me grab this in John 21. And I'll start at 14. It says, this is now the third time that Yahushua showed himself to his disciples. After that, he was risen from the dead. So when they had dined, Yahushua saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith unto him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. So he said, feed my lambs, feed my sheep. And now we're saying in verse 17, John 21:17, he saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, feed my sheep. So this is what we're doing by tending to the vineyard. All right. This is exactly what we're doing. Back in Matthew 20:7, Okay, they say unto him, because no man have hired us, he said unto them, let me read 6 again, Matthew 6:20 and verse 6. It says, and about the 11th hour he went out, which is 5 p.m., an hour before the sun goes down. Okay, which is symbolic too of us coming into this truth late. Brother's been laboring a long time. All right, and here you come, Johnny come lately. Hey man, that's a beautiful thing to come and serve the Lord in this last hour. Matthew 20:6. About the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? Yeah, why you ain't putting any work in for the Lord? Why you don't know who you are? You don't. What are you standing there for, man? We still ask this question. It's Romans 10 and 14. How then can they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. But they have not obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Lord, who have believed our report? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So why are you standing there idle, man? You haven't heard, man, that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites? You don't believe the report? How can you not believe it, man? It don't make any sense. You don't see what's going on in the world. You don't see who's being persecuted the most, who's fitting these prophecies written in the Bible. Who needs to be saved from their oppressor? Ultimately, the whole world needs to be saved by this damn devil, but who's going through the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, man? What you standing there idle for? Okay, that's why the scriptures tell you that the laborers are few. Let's grab that. Okay. And this is what we should be using the internet for, man. Building yourself up. Matthew chapter 9 in verse I'll start at 35. It says, and Yahushua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. And that's the state of the nation of Israel right now, man. They're like sheep having no shepherd. Okay, but we got to bring them into the fold to the best of our ability, man. Let them know that the doctrine's here, the truth is here, man. You know, it's up to you to accept it, but it's here. And it's plenty of shepherds now, man, teaching this word, all in the same doctrine. Like me, I'm a student, man. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still making my mistakes. But, the Lord has increased me a lot, man, from coming into this truth. And that's the same thing that can happen to you. Scriptures tell you that you're going to be of quick understanding. And there's a lot of things I already understand, but there's sometimes you got to keep going back into the milk. You got to keep going back into the milk so you can digest this meat. Okay? Which is the understanding of the harder things to understand. Which are, just some things. You might be reading certain things. The main stuff, who's the Israelites, being able to prove that, Yahushua's name in the Hebrew, breaking that down, who he came for, the 12 tribe chart, that's pretty much all Israelites agree. I can't say all, but the majority agree on those things, that we're the Israelites, man. But then you need the Spirit to guide you, because there's so many stumbling blocks within the word itself and within these different ministries, man. There's a lot of shit going on within this Israelite community, you know. But all of that shit is futile compared to what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man's doing, man. Okay? These skirmishes, that's just all distractions. This is why the scriptures tell you want to covet to prophesy. Okay? You want to learn these things, man, so you can teach others. And let me keep going. Matthew 9:37. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore that the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Yeah, so this is what that's what he's done. They're laboring, okay? Making videos, teaching on the street corners, waking people up, showing them the truth, showing them Yahweh Shai, bringing them back to their Lord, their shepherd, okay? And how they're doing it on the internet. Why are they doing it? Because what's happening when the sun goes down? Man, this place is going to be destroyed, okay? Matthew 20 in verse 7, then say unto him, because no man have hired us, he saith unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, okay, so let's look at this word even. Okay. Late, either from 3 to 6 o'clock p.m., from the 6 o'clock p.m., to the beginning of night. So when even, so that's 6 o'clock, man. Okay, sun's going down to the beginning of night. That's what that's talking about. It also calls it eventide. It says from the Strong's definition, afternoon, early eve, or nightfall, later eve, evening. You know, so you can understand how close we are to it just being darkness, man. Okay? Matthew 20 in where was I? Matthew 28 again. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. So the people that first came in those beginning hours, you know, he said, pay them all, from the last even unto the first. And who are the last? The people that were coming in at the 11th hour. What are they going to get paid? That same penny, which this parable is going into. But it's also, you know, the point of the parable is it's the parallel it is with you coming into this truth, okay, before the evil day, and hopefully you get saved, which is the penny, okay? That's what we're working for. That's what we're laboring for. Mercy, okay, grace, faith, and we hope that we can reap salvation, and these are the things we want to reap, because we're going to need all these things in order to get over the finish line. Matthew 20 and 9. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. Let's look at this word penny in Matthew 20 and 9. Maybe there's some meat in there. It sucks driving and edifying. A denarius containing 10. The same thing. A Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC. Increased to 16, about 3.9 grams or 0.14 ounces. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire, from the parable of the laborers in the vineyard. which we're talking about now, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages. Okay, but we know that's symbolic of salvation. Matthew 20:10. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. Yeah, the first that came, people have been in this truth longer than you. They feel like they should get paid more. You know how Jake is, man. You think you being this longer, that the Lord ain't looking at it like that, man. The Lord don't look at time like this is all quick and nothing, man. In this realm, the elders got 40 plus years, man. Some of us ain't even 40 years old. And then they had elders before that. So we all hope for the same thing, man, that we get saved, man, that we're part of that number, whether we die or not. We hope that we're part of that number. All right, part of the elect. Okay, Matthew 20:11. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, which is that householder. He's the owner of the vineyard. You murmuring against, that's like you murmuring against the Lord, parabolically speaking. Because everything belongs to the Lord. Matthew 20:12, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour. Wrought meaning to work. They only worked an hour. I've been toiling. I've been doing the most for the Lord all these years, man. And then here comes some young, dumb dudes fresh off the street, just got the news that he's an Israelite, and we both getting the same reward. Getting a little deeper, we don't know who is who in the spirit. Isaac had Jacob, man. And Isaac was the Lord, and Jacob was King David. Then in the previous lifetime, you had King David giving birth to King Solomon, who's Yahushua in the reincarnation. So who's older? Yahushua is. Okay? So we don't know who is who in the spirit. So we got to consider all of these things, man. To keep that humility and stay humble in this thing. All right? You might be younger than who you think's coming in later than you. None of that matters. That's all carnal, is what I'm trying to say here, without crashing my car. All right? Now let me finish this and keep it moving. Matthew 20. Verse 12 again, it says, saying these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. Yeah, they were in when the sun was out, man. But through their work, scriptures tell you that we have entered into other man's labors. Let's get that. Other men's labors. This book of John, chapter 4. And I'll start at 34. John 4:34. It says, Yahushua saith unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me. To finish his work. Okay, that's the Lord's meat, man, to do the will of him that sent him, which is Yahweh. Yahweh sent his only begotten son. You know, the scripture that Christians love to chop up for the nation of Israel, man. Yahweh so loved the world that he sent Yahweh Shai. He loves the world so much, man. What's there to love about this place? He about to clean this place up. And he does love the world, man. He said the earth abideth forever. Okay, but he gonna destroy the inhabitants thereof. John 4:35. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. And herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth. I sent you to reap that whereon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors. And that's what we're doing. We are entered into their labors. Okay. There's a scriptures that tells you that Apollos watered. In 1 Corinthians 3, verse 6, I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. Okay, so yeah, you might plant, he might harvest, but we're both one. Ultimately, it's Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. The elect in Yahweh and Yahweh, we're all one, man. We're all one. Okay, but the Most High get an increase. So that just shows you, man, it's the Lord. This is his husband. He's you. You're just a tool. You know, he's doing what he wants to do down here with your body, with your life. Okay, you're just vessels. Okay. So lock. Let me make this turn real quick. Okay, Matthew 20. I just want to finish this parable. In 13, but he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Hey, you got to count the cost, man. Okay, you got to count the cost. And part of counting that cost is having sufficient to endure to the end, man. Okay. Not worrying about how much work somebody else did or how little work somebody else did, man. You got to worry about what you agreed to do in this ministry. You agreed to feed the sheep, and hey, that's what you got. That's what your agreement was, man. Okay. It's like you made a vow. You didn't even know it. Matthew 20. In verse 14, take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Yeah, the last guy, I'm going to give him the same thing I gave to you, a penny, man. Okay? And this is not saying you're going to be up in the shit, oh, well, you should have saved me earlier, or you should have, I should get 10 cities, because, whatever. But it's just a parable. Okay? To show you that, yes, there's going to be men that come in the 11th hour that are going to receive the same thing that those who've been laboring much longer than them. Okay? And it's all fair and it's all just because, like I said, we don't know who was who in the spirit. We're all coming in our order. Okay? And having that understanding, that should comfort you. This is not even an issue. All the destruction that's going to come, man, you're going to be happy to make it through any little thing you get out of. But the point is to endure unto the end. Matthew 20 and verse 15. Is it not lawful for me to deal, to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. I'm going to end it right there. Many are called, but few chosen. And I hope that was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.